Hello, fine people of YouTube, and welcome to HITC Sevens, and specifically to today's video, in which we're going to be taking a quick look at the highest scoring player in each position in Europe's top 5 leagues this season. I made an exact replica of this video around the same time last season, and a few people have asked me for a repeat. So, what with this being the People's Channel and all, I have obliged. I also made a similar video for the highest assisting players in each position last season, so if that also proves to be popular this year, I could well take another look for this season as well. To be clear, I'm only going to pick players in the position that they have played in most frequently this season. So there'll be no Stuart Dallas or Mikel Antonio in the fullback positions, even though they can play there, because they have played more in central midfield and at centre forward, respectively this season. Europe's top 5 leagues are by UEFA's coefficient rankings, not my own opinion, and they are the Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, the Bundesliga, and Liga. The 11 is based solely upon goals scored in the league this season, to make it a level playing field, but in the case of ties, I have used goals in all competitions. And in the very rare instance of it still being a tie, goals per game as the final tiebreaker. So, hopefully that is all clear enough, and without further ado, here is the highest scoring 11 in each position in Europe's top 5 leagues this season. Goalkeeper: Marko Dimitrovic. I might be wrong, but as I recall, there was no goal-scoring goalkeeper in Europe's top 5 leagues last season, so I just had to pick Marc-Andre ter Stegen based upon the fact that he had a couple of assists. Well, not this year, in which I am able to offer you a full team of goal scorers, starting with Marko Dimitrovic between the sticks. Basque-based La Liga basement boys, Eibar, have struggled on a number of fronts this season, but nowhere more so than from 12 yards out. Of the 8 penalties they have taken this season, only 3 have found the back of the net. Presumably, that is why the team turned to 6'4" Serbian goalkeeper Marko Dimitrovic when they were awarded a penalty against Atletico Madrid at the start of this year, and the big man calmly slotted the ball past arguably the best goalkeeper in the world. Unfortunately, Dimitrovic's next penalty 2 months later was less coolly taken, against Cadiz, and his failure to convert saw Eibar lose a crucial game 1-0. Nonetheless, he is a goalkeeper, and he scored this season, so his spot in this 11 is pretty safe. Right back: Achraf Hakimi. Perhaps Europe's most adventurous and effective fullback this season, in the final third, it has been clear for some time that Achraf Hakimi is a serious talent. I said I was surprised that Real Madrid didn't fight harder to insert a buyback clause into his deal to join Inter Milan, and they may well live to rue that mistake if Dani Carvajal's injury struggles persist into next season. Hakimi joined Inter in the summer for a reported €40 million, following 2 seasons on loan at Borussia Dortmund, and he has enjoyed a pretty joyous debut campaign. Not only has the 22-year-old scored 7 goals and made 6 assists from the fullback position, he has also been part of the league's most resilient backline and played a key role in preventing Juventus from winning 10 league titles on the bounce. An honourable mention is owed to young Wolfsburg star Riedel Baku, who has scored 6 goals this season, roughly half of which he has spent playing at right back and the other half playing on the right flank. Centre-back: Guillermo Maripan. From Elias Figueroa to Ignacio Prieto, Chile have produced some fine centre-backs over the years. Guillermo Maripan might not quite be in that bracket just yet, but he's certainly earned 1 or 2 plaudits since arriving in the European game. And like Elias Figueroa, he has developed a useful penchant for finding the back of the net. I should say, this was the closest fought selection in this entire 11, since Guillermo Maripan and Kurt Zouma are both tied on 5 goals in the league and in all competitions from centre-back this season, meaning that it all came down to games played. The Chelsea man has played more, so it's Maripan who features. Signed by Monaco for a fairly hefty £16 million from Alaves in 2019, Maripan is justifying that fee now in the tiny Mediterranean tax haven, where he has been the club's standout centre-back this season. Centre-back: Mats Hummels. Whilst there was nothing to split Guillermo Maripan and Kurt Zouma, German veteran Mats Hummels was an automatic selection. That is because, in spite of having scored the same number of league goals as those two, 5, he has also found the back of the net once in the DFB Pokal back in December, as well as actually scoring in a friendly defeat in August to VfL Bochum. Not that I'm counting that, that's just a bit of trivia. Standing at 6 foot 3 inches tall and fairly formidable in the air, Hummels has tended to be good value for a few goals every season throughout the course of his career, and he needs just one more goal this season to secure a career best tally, having also scored 6 in all competitions for Dortmund in the 2010-11 season exactly a decade ago. Left back, Theo Hernandez. Those of you with better memories than me will correct me if I am wrong, but I'm pretty sure Theo Hernandez was the left back in last season's highest scoring 11 as well, which makes him our first repeat inclusion. Congratulations, Theo. A fantastic left back who has been sensational this season, Hernandez is of such immense importance to Stefano Pioli's side even from the fullback position. Last season, he scored 7 goals and made 3 assists. This season, he has bagged 6 goals and 5 assists in all competitions, still with a couple of games to go. At the time recording, that is, most likely only 1 by the time this video comes out. There is a very glaring honourable mention at left back that must go to Robin Gosens, who has scored a whopping 11 goals this season, in addition to his 7 assists. However, the Bergamo-based German international has played 14 games this season at left back, compared to 21 games on the left side of midfield. So, as per my rules laid out in the introduction, he cannot feature at left back. Defensive midfield, Franck Kessié. Since the title says every position, I wanted every position to be represented, or as many as I possibly could at least, within a functioning 11. For that reason, I've gone for a sort of 4-1-1-1-2-1 formation, so as to include 1 holding or defensive midfielder, 1 central midfielder, and 1 attacking midfielder / number 10. The first of the 3 was really a battle between AC Milan star Franck Kessié and West Ham titan Thomas Souček, both of whom have been immense this season. In fact, I would have a hard time stating who of those 2 was more important to their teams, since both are absolutely integral. Whilst Kessié comes out on top with 10 Serie A goals and 11 in all competitions, it's probably worth mentioning that 8 of those 11 have come from the penalty spot. Souček, meanwhile, has scored 9 Premier League goals for West Ham and not a single one from the spot. But nonetheless, 10 is a bigger number than 9, in case you didn't know that, so it is Kessié who starts. It should be said that Souček was actually a fairly frequent penalty taker at Slavia Prague, but Declan Rice and Jesse Lingard have been preferred by David Moyes from 12 yards out this season. Central midfield, Ilkay Gundogan. Had you or I been asked to predict this 11 before the start of this season, there's a few educated guesses we probably could have made and at least come close. Theo Hernandez will be a decent shout, Achraf Hakimi is no great shock, and certainly some of the forwards coming up have been prolific for many years. However, before the start of this season, Ilkay Gundogan had only managed 6 goals in all competitions in the most prolific campaign of his career. The German playmaker managed to match that tally in less than a month this season, enjoying a blistering run of form at the start of 2021. Playing as a sort of false 9 at times, as Man City wrestled very successfully with their lack of an out-and-out centre-forward, Gundogan bagged braces against West Bromwich Albion, Liverpool and Tottenham Hotspur. In total, he has scored 12 Premier League goals this season, 3 Champions League goals, and an incredible 19 goals in all competitions, if one were to account for international fixtures as well. Despite his remarkable goal-scoring feats, Gundogan was actually driven very close in central midfield, most notably by Jordan Veretout and Marcus Llorente. Llorente has also bagged 12 league goals, but misses out to Gundogan, having scored fewer goals in all competitions. Attacking midfield, Bruno Fernandes. Staying in the Premier League, and indeed staying in Manchester, attacking midfield heralds the arrival of one Bruno Fernandes. The Portuguese maestro had a transformative impact at Old Trafford following his January arrival last season, scoring 12 goals in 22 games, and he has continued that fine form this season. On the goal-scoring front, which is of course the focus of this video, Fernandes has struck 16 times in the Premier League this season and a superb 26 times in all competitions. In fact, the former Sporting star's combined total of 26 goals and 16 assists in all competitions is almost without peer in the entire European game this season, and re-emphasises his importance to Manchester United's semi-renaissance this season. This season isn't unprecedented for Fernandes though, it is worth adding, who scored 30 goals for Sporting Club de Portugal in the 2018-19 campaign. Right wing, Mohamed Salah. Mohamed Salah has been one of the most consistent goal scorers within the European game for the last 4 seasons at Anfield, but the brilliance of Lionel Messi on the right flank has routinely prevented him from being Europe's highest scorer in his position. Even in Salah's truly blistering debut campaign at Anfield, in which he scored 44 goals in all competitions, Messi still pipped in ahead of his tally with 45. This season, however, the Argentine magician has played predominantly through the middle, and that is good news for Mohamed Salah. Liverpool may have suffered a fairly dramatic drop-off in standards from their recently high standards this season, but Salah has maintained his. With 20 Premier League goals and 29 goals in all competitions, this is actually Salah's best season in English football since his debut campaign. Only Harry Kane has scored more goals than him in the Premier League, and likewise, Kane is the only player in the English game to have scored more goals than Salah in all competitions. Left wing, Lorenzo Insigne. Talking of consistent goal scorers, Lorenzo Insigne has certainly met that description ever since his real breakout campaign at Napoli in the 2015-16 season. Insigne is the highest scoring non-centre forward in Serie A this season, with a very impressive 17 goals in 31 games, which has been enough to keep Napoli in the picture when it comes to Champions League qualification. Somewhat surprisingly, Insigne hasn't scored a single goal in 13 games outside of Serie A though, which means he isn't the highest scoring left winger in Europe's top 5 leagues in all competitions. That title belongs to Heung-min Son, who has scored 20 goals in all competitions for Tottenham this season. However, the South Korean wide man's 16 Premier League goals is one fewer than Insigne's 17 in Serie A, and since that is the primary criteria in this 11, he just misses out. Centre forward, Robert Lewandowski. Whilst the centre-forward position is unsurprisingly the most competitive in this entire 11, it is also the most comfortably won, which is to the credit of Robert Lewandowski. Of all the things that I've ever been wrong about, thinking that Lewandowski might have been showing signs of slowing down a bit following the 2018 World Cup is right up there. I believe that he was carrying something of a knock at that tournament, hence my folly, but in 3 seasons since that tournament, Lewandowski has scored 138 goals in 131 games for Bayern Munich. That is consistency and ruthlessness at a level that we have only seen on a handful of occasions at the very highest level during my lifetime, and Lewandowski's record in the Bundesliga this season is quite frankly absurd. Soon to turn 23, he has struck 36 times in 26 games in the league this season, which is basically peak Cristiano Ronaldo at Real Madrid levels in terms of goals per game. Competition at centre-forward presents itself foremost in the form of Lionel Messi with 28 La Liga goals and 36 goals in all competitions, along with the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, Erling Haaland, Kylian Mbappe and Andre Silva narrowly behind him. In terms of players I haven't yet mentioned, at least as far as I can recall, John Stones and Lewis Dunk have both scored 4 Premier League goals from centre-back this season. Nîmes Olympique legend Renaud Ripart has struck 10 times in Ligue 1 for the relegation-threatened side this season, despite having dropped into midfield, and then you have the likes of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Romelu Lukaku, Ciro Immobile, Dusan Vlahovic, Luis Muriel, Shimi, Wout Weghorst, Andre Kramaric, Memphis Depay, Wissam Ben Yedder, Karim Benzema, Gerard Moreno and Luis Suarez, all of whom have scored plenty of goals, but have played predominantly at centre-forward, where Lewandowski and co have scored plenty more. Before I leave you, as a quick thought experiment, where do you think this 11 would finish in each of Europe's top 5 leagues? I think it is a very impressive side that would finish in the Champions League places in all 5 leagues, and challenge for the title in most. I think, perhaps, they would fail to match Manchester City's points tally across an entire season, and quite possibly Bayern Munich's as well. But outside of that, at least at this moment in time, I think they'd be right up there. But what do I know? I'm just the guy with the microphone. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, as well as if I have been stupid enough to accidentally leave anyone out. Thank you all as ever for watching, it is much appreciated. What would be even more appreciated would be if you could hit the like button if you enjoyed today's video. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, and make sure that you are subscribed and have notifications turned on for HITC Sevens. Oh, and you can also find me on Twitter and on Instagram via the username at HITC Sevens on both, should you wish to do so.